building last year, there's kind of a coming out party you guys had in September with We Got Next. But I wanted to ask you about the decision to add a self-serve layer to your business. So, why did you decide to go self-serve? Just we can just start there.
Well, the media business is now a self-serve business, right? So much of the currency of the digital business is either programmatic or full self-serve. If you look at any of the big platforms up, that's how they operate. I spent a decade at Disney. We transitioned most of our business through those platforms. And so, you have to also think about it, Max, if you're building a business today. I mean, we've been doing the RMN thing for about a decade, but so much of the go-forward build is going to be rooted in data foundation, to Mark's point, and having the right technology stack. What self-serve does is it puts the buying capability into the hands of our clients, into the hands of agencies, into the hands of sellers that want to connect those dots, and it allows us not only to go faster, but it allows us to scale the business, right? So that's the premise for doing it.
And you mentioned too, I mean, the business of media is programmatic and is increasingly self-serve, but so many of the kind of foundational customers for retail media have existed in a vein of media that has maybe moved a little slower digitally. Like, when you think about those relationships, like, how comfortable and ready were they for this, move, or did you have to kind of, push them along a little bit?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of both. When I look at our core business, the biggest wins this year are when brands are bringing us to the table and meeting with, I was telling you about some of the meetings we had at CES last week. You have the shopper marketing team, you have the direct response team, and you have the brand team sitting at the table. And many of our meetings included that. When we talk about the relationships we have with CE brands, and here's the other thing that I think is really important. I've learned, being now just over a year in retail media, we can solve more problems for brands than just performant. We can do performant media better than anybody in the ecosystem, trust me. I worked in big publisher platforms. We could never get at ROAS. We talked about it. But our ability to deliver performance, particularly in this type of an economic backdrop, is significant. Now, when you can tie mid and upper funnel and storytelling to that, that's when it starts to change the game. When Nintendo comes to us and says, we want to launch this product with Best Buy, we're a house of brands, right? We don't sell product, we enable. And so when you start to think about how we can be in culture, in storytelling, and tie it back to consumer and customer surprise and delight. If you walk into a Best Buy this month, you'll see ESPN in our stores. Right? They're looking at the 1,000 stores across the country as a way to deliver impact to customers that we share. We share them from different lenses. And so those are, I think, the big opportunities as we think about our endemic business, where there's tremendous growth in our endemic categories because of all of the ways in which we can continue to expand that purview. We reach 200 million customers through our graph. So we have 80% of the US population. How do you activate that audience? Through the loyalty and brand and relationship of Best Buy. And I would say, there's dozens of examples that we've sort of stepped into this year, and there's so much more to come.
Fantastic.